Hey guys, Identity Crisis back with you with another Atlas Reactor patch notes roundtable review. Just a little late night quickie with the hotfix that's coming in tomorrow. I am Lothens, and we got the crew with us here.
Hey guys, this is Doug. What's up?
Hello everyone, it's Olaf.
Hey, it's Skull.
Alright guys, so we know that a little hotfix is coming out tomorrow, the 3rd of March 2017 for Atlas Reactor. Just a little balance fix, and one of the major things here is Kita. That's right after the general notes. So let's go through the general real quick, and then we can talk about Kita's big change to one of her mods. So we're going to have some new Heliocore skin missions. The Trust skin for Kita, Dr. Finn, L, Grimolitions Incorporated, Orion, Kygan, Nyx, Rask, and Titus. Are they going to do those for every single character, I think?
Kind of hope so. There's a bunch of them that I want that I think are going to look good. Like Kygan's will look good, I think.
Right. I wasn't sure if they were going to do all of them really, since Heliocore is only a couple of freelancers, but I think it'd be a cool idea if they did. So.
They're also going to be fixing an issue where the chat box would sometimes disappear mid-game. That would be rather annoying if you wanted to all chat BM your opponents, of course. They're going to fix an issue where pre-made teams of 4 were sometimes matched with solo and duo players in ranked, so team ranked.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that being problematic.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had a situation where that happened, but it could definitely be problematic.
So they're also going to be fixing an issue where Kita's Aim Again mod on her heal would heal you for both turns for 25. So instead of 25 the first turn and 5 the second turn like it was supposed to do, it would do 25 both turns. So potentially 200 healing over the course of 2 turns she could get out with just one ability. And then, of course, lastly, in the general area, we got fixed an issue where sometimes players were not in control of their freelancer after reconnecting. Kisasushi is not with us tonight. He's a little bit under the weather, but this happened with us in the most recent tournament that was going on, kind of a pre-PPL tournament happening, and he disconnected in the middle of the custom match, and the AI was controlling his movements. He could do the abilities, but he wasn't in control of his character, so that was kind of weird. So on to the balance changes. We've got things happening to Kita, which we just mentioned a minute ago, Aurora, Quark, and Juno. Kita's is the longest. On her Resonance Burst mod, the Sonic Resonance has been redesigned. This mod now allows for up to 10 remaining shields to persist for 1 extra turn.
That's an interesting change.
This is the one that shield is stricken by 8 if an enemy is hit.
In the same breath, you have Resonance Burst reduce the energy on ally hit from 6 down to 4, so not as beneficial energy-wise, but of course you can hit multiple allies with it, and I assume you can get that 4 energy per ally hit.
Yeah, that's pretty much what goes down there.
Now onto her Vaulting Shot. This is the dash in Kita's kit. 2 things are happening. It increased the cooldown from 4 to 5, so she is no longer as mobile as she was before.
Yeah, that could be pretty big.
And then one of the mods for that ability, called Survivalist, it costs 3 points, and they're reducing the cooldown by 1. And then finally, her ultimate, Rain of Arrows, decrease the total range you can select by 1. So she's not going to have those long distance ults anymore. I guess it's not that huge of a change. One little block of distance isn't huge, but it's enough sometimes.
Yeah. I think, what was it before? 7, I want to say?
You can outrange like a Lockwood with it pretty easily.
Okay. I think that's what they said in the stream when they were talking about her, was it's a 7, so that would make it a 6 now.
That's not bad. That's a pup ult, Quark ult range. That's pretty good size.
Right. Yeah, that's not too bad.
So now we get to move on to Aurora. Her max health is going to increase from 155 to 160. Very nice. And then Heart of the Storm, increased effectiveness from 22 to 24. If I'm not mistaken, that's her ultimate.
And I believe in the last balance change that they made, they decreased that, did they not? From 24 to 22, so they're increasing it back.
That's right.
They also nerfed her health down, and now they're giving it back to her.
Basically, they're reverting the last nerf they gave her, except for the mod changes.
Yeah, so she's probably back up there once again. She's getting a little bit more healthy. Back to where she was before with the healing anyway on her ultimate.
Yeah.
A Quark getting another little slap on the wrist, as Olaf might say. His max health is reduced now from 145 to 140. Yeah, on the Radiate, one of the mods changes. They changed the cost of rushing Radiate, which was pretty much the go-to, from 1 point to 2. So it's a little bit more expensive. Going to have to change up those builds a little bit.
I never realized that rushing radiate was only 1 point. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, and it's what makes Cork so strong.
Damn.
I seriously think they should make it 3 points. I'd rather them do it in steps than, just all out go from 1 to 3. That makes sense, but I still think it should be 3 points.
So how stretched for points is Quark?
The 1 to 2 would make some difference, but not a ton. I mean, you can just not take anything on his dash, and you'll be fine.
Still on top.
So another Lockwood-esque slap on the wrist for Corky Baby. We don't see Lockwood in here, but we do see Juno. And the devs made a little notation here under Juno's name. It says, Stockade's current implementation was too oppressive to play against and felt mandatory to pick in many situations. We're scrambling to come up with a replacement, but aren't quite there yet. Check back soon. But at this point, Lockdown reduces the cooldown from 4 to 3, so she can do it more often, but the mod called Stockades, which allows you to take 2 charges of it, they're actually removing that completely from the game.
It's heartbreaking for me,
but it needed to happen.
Yeah, it's necessary because that mod is like the go-to mod for Juno. I feel, anyways, it's the one I always used on Lockdown. So, and I really liked it, but it's pretty strong because that ability by itself is pretty strong. So,
yeah, I think we were talking about this last night. I made the point where Juno gives you 2 options: either take her damage from the lockdown when it's available, if you need to get out, like if you're in a bad position, or stay there and allow the enemy team to surround you. And in this game, not moving is probably one of the worst things to do, turn after turn after turn. So probably for the best.
And with them taking out Turtle Tech in the near future, you won't be able to pop Turtle Tech and then dash away to negate this damage for lockdown. So I've seen people do that several times just playing.
Yeah, I think that they're getting everything set up so that when they do take Turtle Tech, there's not a bunch of crap that's totally overpowered.
Like Suki.
That ability is just really, like, that's one, in my opinion, one of the strongest abilities in the game from any freelancer. So
if only it wasn't on Juno,
yeah, that ain't true.
Saying that, I think that's what makes it not super overpowered is who it's on.
Because I know a lot of people don't really like playing her, especially when it comes to competitive. You don't see her a lot, so
yeah, we didn't see her a lot as she was. So now this being taken away, I would assume she's going to kind of fall off the radar, sort of like some of the lower end firepowers have already. Like you don't see much L.
Well, keep in mind they're actually reducing the cooldown from 4 to 3, so it's not just removing the mod.
Yeah, that's true. They are making it to where she can use it a little bit more often, but the double charges was just like, I feel like it was really strong because you could use lockdown, and if somebody didn't dash, say your team didn't have the chance to like really get to them to shoot them, so they thought they were safe, they wouldn't dash, they'd sit there, shoot you, and then you could just turn around and use it again the next turn. Like, you won't be able to do that anymore now. So
I think it was definitely a nerf. That's obvious, but all of her other mods for that are really good. It's just Stockades was impossible to not take.
Yeah.
It was her defining mod. But all of her other lockdown mods are really good. There's one that reduces the cooldown if it doesn't proc, from 3 to 2 if it doesn't proc. Mm-hmm. And there's one that reveals in whether it procs or not. And then there's one that does extra damage for the farther that they go out of range.
Oh, yeah.
And see, what you don't realize about that mod, because I've seen this happen, is that it can deal a massive amount of damage if somebody walks out, but they sprinted with haste, because it calculates from their end point, not just where they died at.
That's rough, man. I can see taking the reveal against characters like Pup Kaigen and Nyx, but if you were just, going against a regular comp, then I would probably use the damage on the further away they got. That feels like it'd probably be the next best thing to do.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind you're spending 2 points just for a one-turn reveal, which seems a little overcosted in my opinion.
All right, so that's going to wrap up this late night quickie with Team IC. Hope to see you guys next time. For myself, the Doctor, Olaf, and Sergeant Skull, I'm Lothens. We'll see you next time.
This is the one that shielded stricken by 8 if an enemy is hit.